Walter Cannon, I believe it was, that first looked into how humans react to potential danger, how we go into different survival mechanisms, such as fight, where we potentially fight back, or flight, where if you're stood in a road and a car is hurtling towards you, you might take flight and run out of its path. And these have also been developed to include freeze, where again, if that car's coming towards you, you might freeze on the spot. Or fawn, where you begin to fawn to another person's behaviour. We can all say that we would potentially act in a certain way if something was to happen to us. However, it's not until it happens to us that we recognise that we actually react very differently. Such as if we believe that somebody's trying to take our child, we often believe that we're going to scream and shout and get the attention and get our child away from that person. However, in the moment when you're stood there with your children and somebody puts their arm around one of your children, you can stand there and think, do I know that person? Do they know my child? What's going on here? And you can be surrounded by people, but you have that instant sort of confusion trying to process what on earth is happening, because you never thought it would actually happen to you. So when it happens, we react very differently to what we think or believe that we would react like, such as people who haven't been in toxic relationships often believe that they would just leave. And then when they've been in a toxic relationship, they recognise that it's not that simple, and you don't just leave, and you don't always recognise what is happening to you. Now, in a narcissistic relationship, some people will fight back, which the narcissist will turn into reactive abuse. Some people will freeze. Some people will take flight as soon as they can. Some people can take flight by staying in the relationship but developing obsessive behaviours, sort of focusing on other aspects, trying to control other areas of their life. And other people can fawn to the narcissist. And not only fawn to the narcissist, they can find themselves fawning in other areas of their life, because they're using a temporary survival mechanism which has become a permanent mechanism, which is shaping their personality, which needs to be recognised so that they can reprogram how they're behaving. When you're around a narcissistic individual, they go all out to make you feel bad if you're not serving them, to make you feel guilty. So you can then develop people-pleasing behaviour. You can constantly go all out to serve them, to please them, going out of your way to make sure that everything is right for them, even at the expense of your own needs and your own well-being. And this is often done as an attempt to avoid feeling guilty, to avoid conflict, to avoid disapproval, to avoid silent treatments from the narcissist. You can find that when you're dealing with a narcissistic individual, they feel entitled to get their needs met, therefore they do not respect your boundaries. They go all out to make you feel guilty for setting a boundary. They go all out to make you feel like there's something wrong with your boundary. And they go all out to be offended when you create a boundary, creating that scenario where you might begin to find it difficult to say no, finding it challenging to assert your boundaries or decline requests out of fear of reactions from them, fear of rejection, fear of conflict. So you find yourself agreeing to things that you don't actually want to do just to keep the peace. And while you're keeping the peace with that individual, you are causing so much inner turmoil within yourself and who you are, so much build-up of frustration and resentment. Even though that survival mechanism is kicking in to protect you from that person, you're no longer protecting yourself. Fear of conflict. The thought of confrontation can cause intense anxiety from previous experience with a narcissist, whenever things haven't gone the narcissist way, leading people to avoid those disagreements. You can find yourself agreeing with things you don't believe in just to prevent the argument. Over apologising, saying sorry for anything and everything. No, there's nothing wrong with apologising. We can all sort of brush past someone and just go, oh, I'm ever so sorry, out of politeness. We can be sort of busy in our own world and then recognise we're in someone's way with that. I'm ever so sorry, didn't mean to. Out of politeness. There's nothing wrong with apologising. When you find yourself excessively apologising for other people's behaviour, for other people's mistakes, when you've not done anything wrong, for fear of upsetting others, for fear of being seen as difficult, it's a reflex to avoid potential anger or criticism. Suppressing your needs. You can begin to ignore or downplay your feelings and your needs because a narcissist will train you up to do this. You then begin to find yourself meeting the demands and expectations of others, leading you to feeling exhausted and unfulfilled. You can suddenly gain that hyper awareness to other people's emotions because narcissistic individuals can have those mood swings. We can all have mood swings. However, with a narcissist, they manage to blame you. They manage to punish you. It has those negative consequences on you. Some people can be having a bad day and I just need to be left alone. I'm not in the right frame of mind. It's nothing you've done. This, that, and the others happened. Need a bit of space. And you don't take it personally. With a narcissist, they will personally attack you. So you become hyper aware to their emotions. You become overly attuned to moods and behaviours, constantly trying to manage their emotions to prevent them from getting upset, to prevent them from getting angry with you, often leading you to no longer being able to manage your own emotions. Fear of rejection. We can all fear rejection, and narcissists tend to fear rejection, which is why they have to control people. With a narcissistic individual, they are going to plant that fear of rejection within you, either falling silent on you or disappearing on you, or 1 minute flattering you and the next minute ignoring you, showing you that indifference if you succeed at something or taking the credit. When you're constantly worried about being abandoned or rejected, you can begin to mold yourself to fit into what other people want, what other people need, even if it means losing your sense of self in the process. These behaviours often stem from a trauma response. You've been traumatised in some way and you've gone into the survival mode of fawning, which is used to maintain your safety in relationships, appeasing those around you to protect yourself. The best way to recover from this is recognise your behaviours, the self-awareness, step away from narcissistic individuals and find yourself around people where you can be who you are as a person without that fear of reaction if you don't live up to their expectations. If anyone has any thoughts on this video, please add them into the comments for people reading through. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. It's greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot give no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you understand and overcome narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to or have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. I do also have a few one-to-one slots available. I also have several books out on Amazon if anyone is interested in those. There is 15 Rules to Deal with Narcissistic People, How to Stay Sane and Break the Chain, How to Create Boundaries Around Those Who Have No Respect for Your Boundaries, Healing from Narcissistic Abuse, a guided journal for recovery and empowerment, a Narcissist Handbook, which is the ultimate guide to understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, and the new book, which is more of a novel, which I was hoping to get out at the end of this month, but I'm only halfway through editing it, is Behind the Mask, The Rise of the Narcissist, which will hopefully be out at the end of this month. If not, it will be November. Thank you very much for watching. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.